All over New England, we've been finding some impressive collections of private letters and photographs, not just in the homes of those famous friends and family we visited who were close to the president, but also in local colleges and universities. Tonight, inside the archives at Providence College, where after a bit of digging around, we found the late Senator Pastore's collection of letters and photographs rarely seen of the president's trips and interests in southern New England. In the basement of Providence College's library, and after a bit of digging with staff through the archives, we found original artifacts from and about President Kennedy before his assassination. Much of this comes from a private collection from the late Senator John Pastore, who donated all of this from his district and Washington offices. We dug through. Look what we found. A picture of Senator Pastore with the president on a visit to Quonset.
John Kennedy gave Rhode Island and New England in general an identity. He got married here. He went sailing right off our coast. All sorts of people lived here in Newport. He was one of us.
Providence College professor Joe Camerano with some analysis.
If you look at it, you've got this sort of the young New Frontier senators, and of course that was Kennedy's sort of theme. It's really the coming together of a progressive, forward-thinking, progressive, and really optimistic group of senators to try to achieve things.
Do we see pictures like that anymore in current day politics?
Absolutely not. This is not this may have been a setup picture, but there's a certain spontaneity to it that you just will never find anymore.
We found original letters, too. Here's an original letter from the president signed by him, asking for the senator to help him during his campaign. Then there are these typed letters on policy.
I think it's interesting because it shows some of the internal communication that used to happen and doesn't happen anymore. That sometime in the 1980s, you stopped seeing letters like that, where real information that is unique and behind the scenes actually exists. Now, either they destroy it before they go home, or they just don't write it down.
While PC has this collection, URI has another one, donated from Senator Pell. This collection, we're told, started back in 1974, and it includes some fresh, original, and personal photographs of the president's Newport visits.
He was basically visiting the Pells on vacation, and they went for a boat ride out in Narragansett Bay.
Much of the collection has been digitized and is available on the Special Collections website. Going back in time 50 years later is relevant and noteworthy, in part, we're told, because President Kennedy set the tone for future presidents, and his assassination changed so much too.
Kennedy did change politics forever, and unfortunately, the assassination changed politics forever. It was the beginning of the end of the optimistic period in the 20th century. We became much less positive, much more cynical. It wasn't his fault, it wasn't his doing, but it did end, really, with the Kennedy era.
No series will be complete without a visit to the Presidential Library, a tour and insight into the number of special presentations that celebrate the legacy of the nation's 35th president. We'll have that tomorrow night. Alison Bologna, NBC 10 News.